Off. So yeah, Mark, up there in Rockford, Illinois, tell us about J&M and how you all got your start and all that you offer the industry with your services now. Yep.
So yeah, it goes way back. We will celebrate our 40th anniversary next year. So we started in September of 1986. And kind of the way the business got started, or the way it did, is my father had worked at Camcar for about 30 years. And he was in charge of their heat treating and plating facility there at Camcar. If you remember Camcar, at one time they were a major player in the fastener industry.
Right.
And they had problems sending product out for heat treating and specifically more plating. And he said, I know how to do this. And the reason he does is, back up a little bit, Camcar decided to get out of plating and started sending it to outside suppliers. So he at one time was doing it internally at Camcar. They were having problems, and he said, hey, I know how to do this. So he had the know-how in the shop, but administratively he didn't have that background or skill set. So he came to me. I had just graduated with an accounting degree, and he felt that I knew all about administration, and said, hey, you take care of the office and I'll take care of the shop. And I want to start this plating facility. So I said, hey, I'm all in. I was, in my 20s. Young 20s, and I had nothing to lose, and he had everything to lose. So without going into a lot of detail there, we started in September of 1986. At that time, we had to go out. My brother came in really quick. My older brother came into the business shortly after my dad and I decided to do this thing. We set up the shop. We did all the welding of the lines. We installed the lines ourselves, the plumbing. My dad had that know-how, and he taught my brother and I how to do that. So we spent a year doing that. And then in September of 1986, we opened it up and we went out and secured a couple of customers. Now, the reason our target was Camcar, because my dad had the tenure with Camcar and knew they had a lot of business. But there was a conflict of interest with him working at Camcar. So we had to go out and secure a couple of other accounts, which we did. And my brother would go pick the work up during the daytime, and then my dad and I had daytime jobs. So in the evening, we would go there and plate the parts and run the plating lines, and he would show us how to plate. And so we did that for a while, and then it looked like we were going to make a go of it. So he went and turned his time in at Camcar, and he quit on a Friday, and on a Monday we sent a straight truck in, and they filled it. And we were off and running. I was still working at Camcar. Ironically, I worked there also, but as a profitability analyst for one of the divisions. And we spent the next year building the business. I was helping with the books, pricing, administrative type of stuff. And my brother and my dad were taking care of the shop. And after about a year, then I was able, could afford for me to join the business. So that was around 1987, and we started as just a plating company. We had great success right out of the gate. We grew like crazy, and then in around 2002, we branched out into heat treating because my dad had that background also. So we started offering heat treating and plating to the industry. In 2007, we went into business as partners with a company called Quality Inspection Services, which were doing sorting for the fastener industry. And we eventually bought them out, the ownership there. And so now we had heat treating, we had zinc electroplating, phosphating, and 100% inspection sorting on fasteners. And then in 2012, we secured a Durkin license, which is a German dip spin
Right.
company, and now we're in dip spin, and
Hmm.
then along the way we've added more furnaces, more plating lines, zinc nickel. 2022 we added zinc nickel, and then in 2023 we added patch. We're doing pre-coat patch over
Right.
the fasteners now. So uh, we started as a plating company and ended up being
Right.
a complete one shop stop service. That's what we market
Ye-
today.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of the big plus for you all is that you've got that single source, right, for
Yes,
these customers, which I'm sure you're seeing more and more manufacturers. That's what they want, right? They want somebody that can just handle it from beginning to end on everything, and
for sure.
that has really worked out, I guess, a lot for you guys that you can offer that for that.
Yeah, I
But
think the industry as a whole, it's worked out. Having gone through the transition, being a part of the company as it went through that, where we're just a plating company. When we were just a plating
right,
company, the commercial heat treater, a lot of our customers would send it out to a commercial heat treater. They didn't really care about the condition of the surface coming into the plater,
mm,
and we would always have to try to beef up our acid, or in some cases, we would pull the
right,
carbon because we were throwing so much acid at it. Parts wouldn't plate, they would
mm,
blister. We'd have to send them to blast. We would go back at our customer and say, hey, the heat treater is giving us a condition that we can't really deal with. Well, you had a
right,
lot of this, fingers
right,
pointing back and forth, and the heat treater saying, well,
right,
that's their job, is to clean the part.
right,
So when we got into heat treat, we knew how important that was. And so we know the different areas of the process to target to make sure that the parts are in a good surface condition, that we don't have to throw a lot of acid or extra cleaning at it to make sure
right,
that we can produce good parts. And so the customers like the idea of taking away that finger pointing back and forth. It's just
right.
one company to go to who is responsible for all of the processes.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, it's you're going to get a better product out of it. I'm sure. Well, like I said, when you've got
Yeah,
everything, and the end result is always the focus. Like I said, with the heat treaters not really maybe having that end result in mind, with that,
right,
what the
right,
next guy has to do with it and everything.
exactly.
So you guys are up to over 200,000 square feet there, right? I mean,
Yeah, about
it's pretty
221,000 square now. Yeah.
right. Have you just been able to add on, or how's that worked for you all
Well,
since?
we've been pretty fortunate. We started in Rockford at a small little 30,000 square foot facility. But then as we grew, we leased space in a facility that was
Hmm,
650,000 square feet.
hmm,
And it was only partially filled. And it was owned
right.
by an investment company, a real estate investment company. And we moved in here in 1995, and just 3 years ago, we bought the facility. So
Hmm,
we have endless space to grow into. Now, we lease out the
right.
building in total. We were fortunate enough that it's totally leased. But we have in our leases written in that with a 1 year notice, we can take
Hmm,
any space back that we want. So we have
right.
ample space to grow into the future.
Right. Yeah, I'm doing the quick math. That's close to 900,000 square feet at your disposal if needed, right? I mean, that's a
No, it's
humongous.
the 650
It's
includes the 220 that we
gotcha. 650
occupy.
includes
Yeah,
the
so it's
220.
just
Gotcha.
650.
Still, I'm not sure too many can reach that type of can reach that type of space with that. But yeah, it's funny is that it seems like over the years, you and your brother and your family have really sort of listened to customers, right, and evolved the company. Like I said, adding the zinc nickel and then going to uh, the sorts and doing that, and just adding services that your customers want you to add because again they want that single source, right? And I know some people
For sure.
it's time and money to add those things, but like you said, I'm sure you all have studied it, your analytical background and studying it and saying it will pay off if you can add those, right?
Yeah, and every process that we've added, new process, um, it's about a 3 to 4 year um,
Mm,
time frame that you have to go through before it really starts to take off. And the
Right.
reason that is because of PPAPs. And most customers don't want to go through the PPAPing process. It's too
Mm-hmm.
costly. Their customers don't want to do it unless you're going to give them a cost savings. So when you put a new process in, you got to get in on the new parts, and new parts can take, 1 to 2 to 3 years before they take off. So every time we put a new process in, we know we've got, at least 3 years before we will start making money with that process.
Right. What is that phrase you mentioned? What did you call
Production
that?
part
What is?
approval process. It's big in the
Gotcha.
automotive industry. And you
Right.
have to go through this process to qualify a new part.
Mm.
And then once you do that, you've documented the process. So
Mm.
our customer documents their heading, their threading process, and then they also document what supplier they use for heat treatment or
Gotcha.
coatings, and the OEM will not allow you to change that without going through a change process, which
Gotcha.
usually involves trials, cost, and they don't like to do that. So once you're on a
Right.
part, I mean, it's good and bad. If you're on the part, unless you really mess up, you're probably going to stay on the part long term.
Gotcha. Right. Right. Yeah. So it's your customers that are really concerned about how this whole process is. Rightly so. They want
Yeah.
to know exactly from beginning to end with that. And like I said, I know you mentioned you all went to the added the zinc nickel, which is really what a lot of OEMs were evolving to. Correct. I mean, that was something that they really wanted to move to. And what were the reasons that they were giving you that they wanted to go? A lot of them wanted to go to that
So
part.
going back 25 years ago or so,
Mm-hmm.
cadmium was the finish of choice whenever
Mm-hmm.
they had an area of high corrosion. So under
Mm.
the chassis, for instance, it's
Right.
exposed to salt and the outdoor environment. They would go with cadmium. Well, cadmium, as you know, our government,
Mm.
the environmentalists, said, no more cadmium. That is a
Right.
carcinogen. It's poison to our earth. It's poison to our people that are dealing with it. No longer being allowed. So
Mm.
that's where zinc nickel came about. And in the beginning was an extremely difficult process to run. Being an alloy, you're trying to plate out both
Mm.
zinc and nickel at the same time. It's not an easy process. But over the
Mm.
years now, it's 20 years in now. It's the platers are able to do it repeatedly, um, and the corrosion resistance has been fantastic. So the
Mm.
automotives more and more are going to the zinc nickel process. And what we see is zinc plating, which is not near the corrosion resistance, that has fallen out of favor at the automotives. We still use it, but they're going more into the dip spins, like the Durkin coating that we use, which is higher corrosion
Mm-hmm.
resistance, and zinc nickel, which is higher corrosion resistance.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you all the pre-coat adhesive patch. Explain that to me what that is and what that all entails. And I know you all added that in the last couple of years, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's again
so
another service.
so patching is has been used for years. A lot of people know in the store you can buy Nylac patch. The pre-coat is a German uh, offering that came about. Well, they've been in business for I think over 30 years, but the patches that we apply are for like engine, where there's a lot of shaking and rattling.
Mm.
And without the patch, these fasteners have a tendency to back out and loosen up
Back out.
over time.
Right.
We put this lock patch on, and once we
Mm.
install it, there's capsules that break upon installation, and they actually create a joint that the fastener won't back out. And so
Right.
that's the purpose of the patch. There's not a
Gotcha.
huge demand. Like if we, out of the 100% of the fasteners we apply, I don't know, maybe 10% would get a patch.
Mm. Gotcha. Gotcha. With that, yeah, yeah. I know you all do with the fasteners. You do probably billions of parts, right? I mean, you So these, and I was looking on your site, and I know you all kind of emphasize sorting. What does that entail? I mean, what are they asking you to do, and how do you do that? How do you do the sorting part of it?
So the sorting is automated. It can run, as low as 100 pieces a minute up to 600, maybe 700 pieces a minute, depending on what you're doing. But basically,
Hmm.
you're putting parts in a feeder bowl, just like our customers do when they feed roll thread. You put them in a feeder bowl, they come down a rail, and they go into a slotted disc. And that
Hmm.
disc then turns, usually clockwise, or it could do
Hmm.
counterclockwise, and it brings the part in front of cameras. And you could
Hmm.
have a top camera, you can have a side camera, um, and you're taking dimensions of the threads, dimensions of the head. You look for head cracks, any defects that the fastener manufacturer could have in their process. We can generally find with our vision sorting.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. Great. Interesting. I meant to ask you. I mean, with fasteners, it was that something that was offshored a lot over the past. I know a lot of. It doesn't seem like there's that many fastening, coaters that specify or specific to that. Was that something that went offshore a lot, or did it pretty much stayed here in the
Yeah,
U.S. for?
yes, it has. So in
Mm,
I don't know if I remember, Tim, exactly the time frame, but I would say at least 15 years ago or so,
mm,
we started seeing a lot of high volume parts move out of our shop, and they were
mm,
getting placed into Taiwan, China. Um, yeah, that hit mainly the industrial market. The
mm,
automotive market, we didn't see that as much. I
mm.
think they do some today, but I think the automotive still primarily use domestic manufacturers for their fasteners, which are tend to be much more engineered fasteners than the industrial market tend to be more standards. Certainly,
Right.
most of the standards today are made overseas.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. How much of your work is automotive though? With
We're
that.
about 70% automotive,
Gotcha.
30% non-automotive.
Okay. Yeah, because you're doing some. What are some of the other industries that you're working with, and but not
So
automotive?
Caterpillar, we do some Caterpillar. We do Polaris. Harley Davidson's a big customer of ours. GE is a big customer of ours, indirectly, of course. We're tier
Hmm.
two in all of these cases. Um, but pretty much John Deere is a
Hmm.
so ag, um, uh, recreational
Gotcha.
vehicles, refrigerators. Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything other than automotive, we're into that market a little bit, or in some cases, a lot.
Right. Right. Yeah, I was going to say it is that with everything going on and economically and everything, is that what do you see? What's your look on the horizon about how things are going to be moving forward? I know they're trying to bring manufacturing back, and that's a good sign, I think, with a lot of that. But it doesn't really behoove that a lot of these smaller components like you are doing are going to be done here as well, though. It doesn't
Yeah,
line up that way sometimes.
we've heard a little bit of that, to be honest, that
Hmm.
some fasteners that are coming back from overseas, but um, we're not seeing a lot of it. You know, the bottom line is price, right? Price talks,
Right.
especially in the industrial market.
Hmm.
So those fasteners have left, and whether they come back, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if they did come back, we'd have the capacity, right? Because the capacity is kind of shrunk with the exiting of that work. So,
Mm.
um, but we are hopeful that um, there are like foreign automotives like Hyundai. Um, they're them specifically. They still import a lot of fasteners from Korea. But
Mm.
I think in the future they may consider making them here. So
Right.
I think instances like that you will see the fasteners come to the U.S.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. One thing I noticed about your with J&M Plating is you really you've emphasized community involvement a lot. That you are a member of the community. plating companies sometimes are not looked upon as in their community. Sometimes they're looked upon in a negative way, but you all have sort of embraced that, right? I mean, I see, where you all sponsor sports teams, you get involved with charity, you encourage that with your employees, right? And that's really, is
Yes.
that something you guys have been doing from the very beginning with that, or?
Yeah, I don't know about the very beginning, but probably after we got established, 10 years of being in business, and the growth started to slow down, and we could, look outwardly instead of all inwardly, because that's what we had to do at the beginning. So
Right.
yeah, for a long time though, certainly, yeah, we try to have a presence in the community. Rock
Mm,
House Kids for underprivileged kids is a big charity that
mm,
J&M Plating is behind and contributes, and time also given to that charity, and then other charities, and like our local fair, we, you know,
mm.
we give to that, and have our name out there, and so yeah, we try to stay in the community and give back as much as we can.
Right. Right, right, definitely. Yeah. And so I know, like I said, one of the things that you all have done is added is it a newer ERP system, or is that something, did it replace what you had, or just upgraded it to help run your facilities, or how did
So we
that come about?
replaced our ERP system that we had. Our ERP system that we had, we liked. It's mostly a homegrown system
Hmm.
with a small company here in Rockford. Um, the, they um, they just we didn't see the future there, and we
Right.
felt that we needed to get with a larger company that had many programmers, that had many things going on besides just plating. And so we went looking about 3 years ago for a replacement. We came across ProPlate is the one that we ultimately chose, and we
Hmm.
went live with that July 1st. And
No.
as with
Okay.
any new ERP system, it's been rocky,
Right.
but um, we really like the lab module.
Hmm.
We really like the plating module and the way that works. It gives us much better, uh, more accurate loadings than what we've
Hmm.
had in the past, because it's based on surface area. And
Right.
we've always known that, and actually tried to tackle that years ago. I brought in NIU, and we started calculating the surface area of every fastener, which can take some
Mm.
time, but we wrote a little program to help us. And we just could never get it fully implemented with our current software company, that on the line itself, where it would tell the operator basically how it's going to be loaded.
Right.
But ProPlate has done that, and so that part of it's been very good.
Right. Yeah. Is that a lot of your parts of the barrel plated,
Yeah, we're
right? Is
barrel
that
plated.
how?
Yep,
Yeah, and I know they've got some. I know that's I've talked to them a couple of times. They've got some really unique features that sort of specify, or they specialize in the barrel plating
for
aspect of
sure.
it. Which, I don't know. Like I said, 10 or 15 years ago, would that have even been a concern about how much the surface area and these type of things? But if you can do it, it seems like it's a great thing to be able to do,
Yeah,
right?
it
You
was a
can really.
concern. Like I said, we it was probably 25 years ago. Um, I brought in NIU would lend out their engineers so that they would get experience,
Hmm.
and I tried to do what ProPlate's doing, but I could never get it finished off. I
Right.
needed a better partner, um, on the software side of things.
Right. Right. NIU, is that Northern? Is it,
Yeah,
what
Northern.
is it?
Well, actually, U of I. I said NIU. That's Northern
Okay.
Illinois University, but it wasn't
Right.
NIU. It was University of Illinois.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's where the
Yeah.
students came from.
Right. Yeah, I know most shop owners, you're kind of averse to changing anything that runs your system, right? You just don't want to, it's been working. Yeah, you'd like to have some features, but it's a big drink to take, right?
It's
Sometimes of.
We're 2 months in, and now we had a all employee meeting yesterday, and we asked them, how's it going now? And we were starting to get some positive comments in the
Right.
beginning. And why are you changing? We liked our old
Right.
system. Change is never easy.
Right.
But I explained to them why it had to happen, and
Right.
they understood that. But nobody
Right.
likes to go through the pain. But that's just part of
Right.
progress sometimes.
Yeah. Is this giving you more data to look at? Is that really some one
I
of the
wouldn't say
options?
that. The real
Right.
selling point is in the lab control and
Gotcha.
the line control, and the longevity of it. Behind this
Right.
is a fairly large software company. Like I said,
Right.
they not only do plating, but they're into the government. They do quite a bit for the government, so they're
Right.
more longevity than what we thought we had before.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, like I said, you all have evolved, like we talked about some of the things evolved over the years based on what customers, what the market, what OEMs are asking for. What's coming up? Anything that's on your pipeline about anything you're looking to? It looks like you've got a lot of services that anybody would want if they in the fat if they're making fasteners, you all can handle pretty much all of it. But is there anything else that is kind of down the pipeline, or is
Not
it?
right now, just expanding the current services we have. We're putting in another furnace.
Mm,
Heat treat is always a difficult part of the business. It is always, parts are going to get hung up somewhere in the system. Typically, it's
right.
heat treat because, you take one of those lines down, they're usually down for a minimum of 4 to 5 days. And you try
Mm,
to sell them for 7 days a week because it's the only way you can get some sort of margin off of them. So
right.
it's a tough part of the business. So we're adding another furnace now so that we have ample capacity there to make sure we keep our turnaround. And really, it's just focusing zinc nickel. We still need
Hmm.
more work there, and patch. We've only just begun. So really, just focusing on filling up what we've got right now. We're not looking to expand into any different other finish or service at this time.